As you practice your own swing on a mirror, you can check your movements against his movements and see if they're correct. The swing is repeated several times to allow you to make adjustments without having to rewind and replay the tape. This learning process takes time as your muscles adjust to the correct movements. But now, you're on the right track in your own pursuit of a more perfect swing. Soon you'll be hitting the ball straight and keeping it on the short grass. So let's take a look at Mr. Hogan swinging various clubs in slow motion. Your immediate reaction is, let me see that one again. But there's no need to back the tape up, as many more swings will be repeated in slow motion several times for your convenience and study. Then when you go out to the driving range, you can refresh your memory as to what you need to work on to improve your own swing. He starts his warm-up with a 9-iron, and at first glance, you may think that he's hitting the same club over and over again in this series. But you'll notice that his caddy is moving further and further away with each shot. His swing is so well grooved that they all look almost identical. The subtleties are hard to spot, but the initial direction of the shot reveals the changes he made from one type of shot to another, the fade, the draw, or the straight shot. So he starts his routine with short irons, and then he increases the length of his swing as he moves to the lower numbered clubs. Let's see how he sets up for these short iron shots. The feet, hips, shoulders are parallel to the line of flight of the ball. A better look at his stance is seen from the front view of the mid-iron shot. The camera angle is slightly ahead of Hogan, so don't let that throw you. His right knee is positioned inward, bracing the swing from swaying the hips to the right, but allowing the upper body to turn freely on the backswing. The right knee stays put, but does flex somewhat on the backswing to accommodate a sitting position at the top of his swing. His weight transfer is accomplished to the right side by turning the upper body, not shifting or swaying the weight of his body. The shoulders follow a tilt, remaining on plane, and go back all together with the hands, arms, and shoulders turning. Bracing the swing with the right knee inwardly and not compensating with the left knee would cause both the hips and shoulders to open slightly towards the target. So the left knee is braced somewhat inward, which establishes balance. It goes inward toward the ball to bring the hips and shoulders back into proper alignment and square to the target line. Hogan's shoulders are always squared to the target, regardless of the position of his feet. It feels awkward unless a sitting position is maintained with your weight on your heels, and your weight remains there throughout the swing. His spine angle doesn't change either during any of his swings. Hogan follows the same routine for his setup for each and every shot. You will note how he concentrates on the positioning of the club head directly over the center of the ball. That's one of his little secrets that accounts for his ability of precisely striking the ball swing after swing. Note that the left arm is straight and not stiff at address, with the cup of the elbow facing away from the target. The right arm is bent and relaxed in a slight cavity of the right side as his hands are centered. To get set up, he moves his left foot towards the target so that the ball is just inside his left foot. Then he positions his right foot. The camera is slightly ahead of Hogan, which makes it look as though he's playing the ball from the middle of his stance. As he hits the longer clubs, he widens his stance and foot position. With the driver, he positions his left foot, and then he moves his right foot backward from the target line and moves the toe of his right foot to the right, away from the target. This accommodates a wider and fuller hip turn to generate more power. This does not alter the position of his knees, hips, or shoulders as they remain parallel to the target line at address. This athletic stance gives him both balance and power from his legs, and a solid base to swing at the ball with everything he's got. His knees are slightly bent to allow for a sitting position, and his weight is on his heels. Front view shows the upper body tilted slightly to the right, as his right hand grips the club lower than his left hand, thus tilting his shoulders. He stands quite erect to the ball, and his arched wrists and his club handle are fairly close into his body without any attempt to reach for the ball. His arms are glued to the side of his chest, not in front of his chest. And as he gets set up for the shot, he first holds the club precisely over the center of the ball. Then he waggles the club above the ball. This motion sets a stage for the path that the club head will take on both the backswing and the downswing. It is the exact path that he takes the club away on his backswing. A careful look reveals that the backswing of his waggle is slightly higher than the downswing segment as it returns to the ball. This is clearly seen during his swing as the path of the club head reveals. After he waggles the club to preview the shot, he places the club directly over the center of the ball and then lowers it behind the ball. Then his backswing begins. The toe of the club is pointed upward as it's waggled back, not hooded, which would deal off the angle of the club face. It's not manipulated by his hands, but controlled by the forearms. That sets the proper path of the swing into the ball or to sweep the ball off the tee with a driver. It also programs the angle of approach to the ball. This produces a more consistent shot, both distance-wise and height-wise. On the backswing, following the waggle, the hands, club, arms, and shoulders all move away together from the target along the line that the waggle previewed. His arms and hands go straight back, and the club head remains close to the ground. You will note that most pros don't bother to waggle the club prior to their taking a backswing, but this is an important insight into Hogan's ability to maneuver his shots. It's the number of little things that he paid attention to that set him apart from all the other pros. Just a little something here and a little something there, but boy, they make a difference.